On April 5, 1980, the small community of Lancaster County, South Carolina, was shaken by the brutal kidnapping, rape, and murder of 18-year-old Rebecca Becky Eudy. Her death marked the beginning of an 18-year legal battle that culminated with the execution of Louis Joe Truesdale in 1998. The case is remembered not only for its violence, but also for the long appeals process, disputed evidence, and allegations of racial bias during sentencing. Before we continue further, this case is about a brutal sexual assault and murder. Your mental health is important, so if you need to, sit this one out. We'll see you in the next one. Rebecca Eudy was abducted from a grocery store parking lot after spending the evening with a friend. Witnesses described a man in an army jacket lurking around the area, and Eudy's car was later found abandoned, stained with blood. According to police reports and trial testimony, Truesdale forced Eudy into her own vehicle at gunpoint, drove her to a remote field, and shot her multiple times. As she bled to death, he raped her before leaving her body behind. Truesdale initially provided police with an alibi, claiming he had been fishing and later playing pool with friends. However, inconsistencies in his story, combined with suspicious behavior, drew investigators' attention. He eventually directed officers to evidence, including bloody clothing at his mother's home, and later led them to Eudy's body. Truesdale confessed to kidnapping and sexual assault, but insisted that a hitchhiker had forced him to commit the crime and was the one who fatally shot Eudy. Prosecutors pursued the death penalty, citing aggravating circumstances of kidnapping and rape. A Lancaster County jury convicted Truesdale and sentenced him to death. His defense argued that evidence pointing to another individual, such as fingerprints not belonging to either Truesdale or the victim, had been excluded from trial. Truesdale's sentence was overturned twice on appeal, but after a third sentencing in 1987, the death penalty was upheld. Allegations later emerged that jurors had intimidated Pam Ross, the only black juror, into voting for death, according to testimony. Some jurors had even used racist language during deliberations. Despite these concerns, the courts consistently upheld the verdict. Truesdale's case moved through the courts for nearly 2 decades. Defense attorneys presented new evidence, including witness statements suggesting Truesdale and Eudy may have had a prior consensual relationship, as well as a polygraph test they claimed supported his innocence in the killing. Nonetheless, higher courts, including the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals, rejected these arguments. Governor David Beasley denied clemency in 1998, clearing the path for Truesdale's execution. On December 11, 1998, exactly 18 years after his initial death sentence, Louis Joe Truesdale was executed by lethal injection at the Broad River Correctional Institution in Columbia, South Carolina. In his final statement, read aloud by his lawyer, he expressed remorse, apologizing to both his own family and to the Eudy family. He added, "I'm particularly sad that I have never been able to be a father to my son." Truesdale's execution marked the 6th in South Carolina that year and the 65th in the United States in 1998. He also held the grim distinction of spending the longest time on death row in South Carolina history up to that point, 18 years. For the Eudy family, the execution provided little comfort. Becky's parents expressed that no words could capture the pain of losing their daughter, and that the years of legal delays only deepened their suffering. Prosecutors described the crime as one of the most brutal and random acts they had ever encountered, stressing that any woman in Lancaster could have been the victim that night.